Hello, real estate world. Welcome to the Nova Show, Real Estate Records. This is Nuria Rivera, owner of Novation Title. I wanted to create the space for you guys to be able to share success stories, but not only success stories, I also wanted you guys to be able to share raw stories. Everything that you have learned from the failures, the lessons, the wins. This is a space for our community to come together so that we can help each other rise to the next level. This is a space to be vulnerable, and this is a space for us to all be able to support each other in this real estate world. Please enjoy this episode.
Hello and welcome to the Nova Show, Real Estate Records. My name is Tristan Hammett and I am your host for today's episode. And today I am thrilled to have Amy Volcic-Price, a second generation luxury realtor who has made a name for herself through hard work, charisma, and a passion for home staging. Amy's expertise in design and market trends ensures your home is always at its best. With a background in political science and business from the University of Utah, Amy has been a top producer since 2016. A Draper community pillar, she combines professionalism and personal touch to every transaction. Join us as we dive into Amy's insights and tips for success in real estate.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here, Amy.
So excited.
I was introduced to Amy through, I think our owner.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Nuria.
Yep.
And I just love her. And I actually honestly get a little bit nervous around her.
No.
She's just like, she's very like kind and warm, but I don't know. She's just like so beautiful.
Thank you. Whatever.
So, but she definitely has some great insights into real estate. So I want to know, let's start with where you're from,
Okay.
and how you came to Utah and got into real estate.
Okay. So I am from Wyoming. I grew born and raised in Wyoming. I came to Utah to go to school. So I went to the University of Utah, go Utes. I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years.
Wow.
And then I went through a terrible divorce and I needed to make money. So I at first approached trying to go to law school. And that didn't work out. I was going to have to leave the state, and my kids were in their junior high and high school days. They didn't want to leave. So I decided I'm going to go into real estate and just see what happens until I go to law school. I've always been a big fan of design, helping people in their homes. I love, with my political science and business background, I love negotiating stuff. So I decided to get my real estate license, and it took off the first year.
Wow.
I was a top producer from day one. That year was more than I could have ever imagined. My divorce attorney told me, don't go into law, stay in real estate.
Wow. Okay.
So I did. And yeah, I'm glad that I listened to her, and I love it.
Okay. That is so cool. So, tell us about, were you the 16-year stay-at-home mom here in Utah or?
Yep, in Utah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
My ex-husband and I moved here from Wyoming, both of us, and then we stayed in Utah. So,
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you had been here about 16 years, and then you, I'm guessing, grew friends,
Yeah.
family. How did you get your first transaction?
it was funny because I've always been room mom, team mom, PTA president, all that in school for my kids. I was just very involved with my children. And my first, I sent a flyer out to, my SOI, and that was the moms and the dads of all the football teams and the PTA. And that was my first transaction, was a big land deal for one of the moms of the football team.
So cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, because I know that you're referral based, you're not cold calling.
Yeah, so after that, I ended up getting a listing from a neighbor that was in my neighborhood that I had helped design her house, do some decorating with her. And she knew that I was going to do the staging approach. And so she was my first stage job. And we sold it in 12 hours, multiple offers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my first listing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your staging, you actually kind of almost have always done it.
Always, from day one. So I feel like I was one of the pioneers of staging in Utah for sure. People weren't really offering it yet. And I knew that I would go into my friend's house anyway, and I would just start rearranging things. And you need to do this, you need to move this to make it look bigger. I would just do that naturally. And then I knew right away I was going to do that with listings.
Okay. So yeah, because I've seen your homes and listings, and you do beautiful staging. You have beautiful homes, and let's talk about so for staging, do you have I know you have help. It's
Yeah.
called Kelsey.
Kelsey's the best.
Yeah. And do you have off-site to where you have a warehouse.
Yep. So I have a warehouse in Draper. I have a ton of inventory there, but I do every single house I still shop for, because not all decorations can work with everything.
Yeah.
And most of my listings are lived in, and so I have to work around their decorations. So I go shopping, and then I put together a marketing plan and a staging plan with what they have, what I need to bring in. But I have a warehouse full of decorations.
Okay.
Yes.
And is that included?
It is.
It
I
is.
include that with my 3% listing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like it's a huge benefit for my sellers that I don't charge for it. And that is one of my talents, is being able to make their stuff work with adding new.
Yes.
You know, without making a move out of the house.
You have such a gift and like an eye for design. It's beautiful. And then your social media page is like aesthetically pleasing. It's just like beautiful too. And so you have a niche.
Yes.
And it is luxury.
It is.
Your brokerage that you're with also is luxury.
Yep.
You know, so how did you decide? Did it kind of just like, did you fall into it? How did you decide you wanted to get into the luxury niche?
It's funny because when I first started real estate, I didn't know what was going to happen. And it ended up that I started working with more luxury buyers and sellers. And I said right away, within the first 6 months, I'm going to brand myself as luxury. I was told, I was from other agents, that was a bad business move. I shouldn't do that. Now they're calling themselves luxury realtors. So I guess it worked out. But and don't get me wrong, I still do first-time home buyers. I still do everything.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where my talent lies, is in the luxury and, you know, getting that listing global exposure and making it look the best, the luxury affiliation, all that kind of stuff. So that's where, you know, the majority of my deals were. You know, my average deal was like 1.1. So that's where I decided to brand as luxury.
Okay. And I think it's so important for agents to have that specific niche and your ideal client and who you want to work with.
Yes.
But also, like you said, like I can help first-time home buyers.
Exactly.
You
I
know,
do everything. And I
Yeah.
think, honestly, it's more gratifying to help a first-time home buyer because they're so appreciative and so happy. You know, some of the luxury clientele can be a little, you know, sassy or whatever, but that's kind of how I am too. So I get it. I get it. It can be high maintenance, but it works well. And that's kind of my SOI, is people that have more luxury homes. And
Yeah, I think it's so smart to have a specific niche. So that's awesome. And your social media, do you manage your social media? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that all you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do it all. My brokerage, we have a marketing agency in the brokerage. And so they obviously make my templates and stuff like that. And they're awesome with all that. But yeah, I'm the one posting. I'm the one with the content, all that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, I always feel like I need to do better and bigger. And, you know, you're never satisfied with it.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful. And I feel like you do a lot of design stuff on there as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you make time to, like, what does a typical day for Amy look like? I know every day for realtors is completely different.
Yes.
But what is a typical day? Are you going into the office? Do you have a home office? Do you dedicate certain times to call your SOI? What does that look like?
Yeah. So in the morning, I like to, I do like thank you notes. I practice the Ninja
Okay.
program. So I do thank yous. I reach out to clients. A lot of my business is from social media. So I make sure that I'm really active on social media. You know, the morning is when I kind of do that kind of stuff, reach out to clients, my SOI. You know, obviously I like to go in the office about 2 days a week.
Okay.
I do work from home too. Usually afternoons are my showings. If I'm doing broker opens, open houses, is usually in the afternoons. Midday is when I usually have meetings, Zoom, stuff like that.
Okay.
So every day is just so different in real estate.
Yes.
Every day I try to make time to touch on my SOI, social media. You know, I like to, when I have listings, really promote them, open houses, broker opens, whatever.
You do a great job.
So focus a lot of energy on that. And then it seems like we're always staging or unstaging a house.
Okay. And you're doing that too.
I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
Kelsey and I are literally the ones carrying the furniture, setting up the beds, the couches. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I can give it to my clients for free, is that I'm the one behind
Yeah.
there
You're not
doing the
hiring
dirty
out.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned open houses, and she has the most like beautiful broker opens. You like, again, you just have this aesthetic, and it's like, these charcuterie spreads that are amazing and delicious. And this is a little like side note, I thought about this, but is your husband, I saw him at the first one, and then the second one I met him, and it's so cute that he's there. Is it safety and support?
So usually he'll stop by if he can. If I'm having him on Friday, he's more flexible that day because he works at home.
Okay.
So usually it's to come grab some food, and they know he's the most supportive guy ever. So I'll just if I'm doing an open house and I don't have Kelsey or someone with me, usually he'll try to, because for safety, he doesn't want me to be alone. So he'll be hanging around somewhere.
Yeah, there's some crazy stories out there. So, it doesn't matter what area you're in.
Exactly.
They can find you.
Yep. They know where you're at. They know what's in the house.
Yeah.
And it gets scary. So.
Yeah. And your husband's like a big, strong guy.
I tell him he's my security.
Yeah, he definitely feels like security. That's awesome. Okay. And, so you had a listing, I won't say the name.
Yes.
But it was a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City wife.
Uh-huh.
And she's your friend.
Yeah, she's a good friend.
Yeah. And you had that house was beautiful. And it's in Daybreak, which if you're not familiar with Utah, Daybreak is like just an incredible place with
so cool community.
It is. There's so many things to do.
Lifestyle out there.
Yeah. And that one sold really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like very fast.
Very fast, yeah. It was fun to do hers. We actually met, she had bought my old house that I sold in my divorce.
She bought okay.
So she bought my house, and then when she went to sell it, she called me and was like, I want you to list the house. And so I became good friends with her and her husband. And I sold that for him, and then they went to sell the new house, and I sold that for him. So. Okay,
very cool. And talking about TV, I know you were through the grapevine, small Lake City, and then the realtor community is even smaller. You were offered to be on a TV show about real estate here locally. Why did you turn that down?
Well, I don't judge anyone for, do what's best for your business. I think, first and foremost, my business, I didn't want to leave my brokerage, first of all. I built a really good career there, and I just like the path I'm on. Mm-hmm. Secondly, my kids, their privacy. There's been a few TV shows that I've had some opportunities to talk to, but I just felt like I wanted to keep my personal life private, just to protect them. And I don't want to bring up a nasty divorce or anything like that on TV. It's hard to live through that the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I completely agree with you. And then, now we're going to go back to SOI and referral base. So how do you, because I feel like getting referrals and staying top of mind, like if somebody out there hears, I'm going to buy a house, and then they say, oh my gosh, you have to use my realtor, Amy. How do you have your clients do that? Or do you ask them for referrals?
I do.
You do?
Just like when I close them, and 100% of my clients, I believe, have been happy. But if you have any referrals, I would love for you to give my name. But I thought about at one point buying leads, and I remember my broker at the time just said, don't just tap into your SOI. That's all you need to do. And really, if you nurture your clients, they'll return that favor, and they'll spread how above and beyond that you go. And I feel like I do offer a service that most realtors don't. I do go above and beyond with everything, with, the staging, the listing, the presentation, the parties, the everything that I do, the marketing, that it speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. And then it snowballs, and they give my name to other people. So.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Just doing going above and beyond, really.
I really just think that it's, we always say at my brokerage, luxury is an experience, not a price point. And it really is the experience of the client, whether it's a first-time home buyer or a multi-million-dollar home. That experience that I have the same photographers doing that house versus my multi-million. I make, everyone feel special.
Yeah, you're giving that Nordstrom experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an agent one time, and he prides himself in how he dresses and how he shows up at appointments. And he said it was over $1 million deal.
Yep.
And the lady was just like, "Look, I'm not looking for a Nordstrom experience." And he was like,
Why not?
"What?" Like, and then, yeah. But then she was like, and then he was like, at first he's like thrown back, but then he's like, "Okay, like I do give that experience. And if she doesn't want that, then I'm not going to lower my fees for that."
No. And that's one thing is I don't discount my commission, I feel like if you present something very well and to the best of its ability, market it really good, first of all, you're going to get a higher price for it. More people, more eyes on it, more exposure is going to give you a better price. And if you wrap up something in a Target bag and present it versus a Saks Fifth Avenue, people are going to pay more for the Saks Fifth Avenue.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's just my approach on real estate.
Okay. And I full-heartedly believe that you deserve more than your 3%.
Sometimes I'm like, I should get all 6%.
That's so funny. Okay, and I want to talk about being a second generation realtor.
Yes.
Who?
So both my parents in Wyoming did real estate.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up with parents that's all I ever knew was like, they would work weekends and nights. And my brother and I were kind of like latchkey kids because my parents were just always selling homes.
Yeah.
And I remember one time my dad had this plaque that said, you sold $1 million with this company. And I was like, that's so much money. And now I'm doing $1 million deals,
Yeah.
left and right. And it's just like, wow, I never thought I'd go into sales, but I remember when I went through my divorce, my dad said to me, you should either go into law or real estate.
Okay.
And yeah, so it worked out and my parents had a good living from it. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. And let's talk about law school.
Uh-huh.
And you said earlier also that you're great at negotiating.
Yeah.
So what's the hardest, if you can remember, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here.
Okay.
If you can remember, what is one of the hardest negotiations that you've done?
Honestly, sometimes you can have unreasonable sellers and it's almost harder to negotiate with your client that this is the reality. This is what the price is worth. This is what the market ultimately determines the price. And getting them to see it is sometimes you have to have a gift to before they don't want, you don't want to offend them, but you have to be honest. And I think sometimes that's harder than even negotiating on the other side. Having someone else come in on my listings is just having my sellers see, their point of view. When I did my law internship, you have to see both sides. And that's true is even if I'm a selling agent, of course, these are my people, I work for them, but I've got to show them the whole spectrum because if they're not understanding, they're just going to keep days on market and it's going to hurt them in the long run. So I think that's kind of hard is just, getting the negotiations to where your seller understands it.
Yeah, and depending on the client and when they bought that home, the market was totally probably different.
Everyone always thinks their house is worth more than it is, and even if there's an appraisal or whatever, it's hard to bring them down to earth sometimes. So I feel like that's hard. But then it's also hard when you have an unrealistic agent coming in and trying to tear you apart in repairs. Of course we're gonna work with you on some things, but you're buying a used house at the end of the day. Not everything's gonna be perfect.
Right.
So that I always, have to go head to head with on concessions, repairs, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I feel like I hold my own with my sellers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard this often, but I've heard a couple agents mention it. Do you get appraisals before you list?
I don't. I've done it. I don't all the time, but I think it is probably a practice that I'm going to start doing more.
Okay.
I think, especially right now in this market, sellers aren't really understanding, they think it's this in their head, even if you show them the data, this is what your house is worth, they still have a different number. So I think it is very smart.
Okay.
I've done it, several times. I think I'm going to start doing it every time.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody just had a good point about it that if your sellers are unreasonable, and they've got this like number, and it's like, look, like it's not gonna, it's not.
I sold at this.
Yeah. So like, here's an appraisal, and then it's not fair to the buyer's side either.
It isn't, because then if they go to appraise it and it doesn't come in what the sellers think,
Yeah.
you're going to have that,
Yeah.
unless it's, the COVID market where people were paying $100,000 over multiple offers, which we're not there.
Yeah.
It's different.
But they have to pay for the appraisal, and then if it's like just way off, like,
Yeah. Then
you
it's,
know, yeah.
So I think it is a smart practice.
Okay. I had never heard of it before, and I heard it on a panel, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I've been seeing it more and more, and I've been actually doing it more and more. And I just think that it's going to start being almost every listing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it also probably just depends on the market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if one is hot and it's going to go, quick, and you don't really need to do it. But if it's going to be a little harder sale, we've got to be pretty realistic on the price.
Yeah. Okay. What do you, what is your, to stay on education, you're on the education committee. Are you still?
I'm not this year, but I was.
Okay, you were. How do you stay on top of market trends and what's going on, and education?
One thing that really attracted me to my brokerage is that we have CE like every 2 weeks,
Okay.
and we have an attorney that teaches it.
Oh,
And so we just really, I feel like, we are really ahead of, some of the changes in the industry, that kind of stuff, because they keep us current and educate us on what's going on with the market, what's the new, the new rules, the changes in the industry. And I just think that's really important, is not to just shove in all your CE a month before your license is up, but just continue it every 2 weeks
Okay.
and keep taking classes.
amazing. And what books or are you reading, or podcasts are you listening to?
Gosh, honestly, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I wish I
I was gonna say, you can be honest, if it's like crime.
I mean, I do like murder mystery podcasts, but again, books. I read a lot of the ninja books.
Okay. I love that book.
Yeah.
I even read it.
Yeah. So I've read that a few times. My broker always gives us different books. I don't even know some of the names right now, but so we have like book clubs and stuff in our brokerage, and I just kind of read what they recommend. And a lot of them are just to help you navigate selling and negotiating and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And your SOI and your clients, when you're making phone calls to them, sorry, I'm switching gears again,
Yeah.
but when you are calling, and what are you saying to them? And right now, what do you say to buyers and sellers? So, okay, that was two different topics. Okay, first topic, what do you say when you're calling your past clients or your SOI? Is it just like relationship calls, or is it?
Yeah, a lot of it is relationship calls. I just try to keep current with people's lives. So, on social media, I'll follow most of my clients, and, oh, I saw that so-and-so's having a baby. That's so great. Just try to just touch base with them, just to, if you're out of sight, is you're out of mind with those clients. Everyone knows 5 realtors. So you have to keep current in their lives. And I feel like I do that through social media mostly. I'm always commenting, I'm always liking, trying to keep current with them. Then, if they have a big life event, I reach out.
Okay.
I do have client events twice a year, and that's when I invite pretty much all my clientele to, and I try to get in front of them. Even if they're not looking to buy or sell, I usually get some kind of referrals from that, because, you're in their mind.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to just touch base like that.
Okay. I did not know you did client events. Very cool. What does Amy Volcic do for client events?
So one client event I do is take clients to Deer Valley, and we go to a concert.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which is really cool. We go to a concert up in Deer Valley.
And you just buy, like, you have everyone RSVP.
Yeah.
Oh,
So my brokerage has an event.
Okay.
So this one is kind of limited on number. But yeah, my brokerage buys a certain amount of seats, tickets, and then we provide like a dinner and wine, like a picnic basket for them to just enjoy the night. So it's a really cool event. Also, I do Cowabunga Bay.
oh.
So that one's wild. It's like so many people, but I again do that with different agents in my office, and we just have like over 1,000 people there, and it's crazy. And it's just, the kids love it, and everyone looks forward to every year. They call it my Amy's pool party.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's something for the family to look forward to.
Okay, that's awesome. That's so you kind of do like more of like an adult one
Yes.
and then a whole family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
But I have people always reaching out. Are you still doing that this year? Yeah.
Yeah, they like expect it
They
now.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun. I just think it's important to.
Is it like every past client,
I invite
like your
everyone.
whole database?
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't make it, that's fine. And a lot of people already have Cowabunga passes and they're done with it by the time I have the event, I guess. But I still invite them. And then other ones are just waiting for it. They're so excited. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very cool. And when you have a client that says, "Hey, Amy, I'm thinking about selling," when you're going to the listing appointment or I'm thinking about buying and you're going to the buyer's appointment, what are you telling your sellers and what are you telling your buyers right now in this market? I know it can change tomorrow, but
Well, right now, business as usual. So we're still, we're still proceeding before the NAR settlement. That'll happen August 17th. But right now, we're just, we're pricing the home to pay full commissions. And after August 17th, some of that can be negotiated. But right now, it's business as usual. And, I think that one of the worst things for a seller to do is to discount a commission of a buying agent because the best buyers are with the best agents and they're not taking discount commissions. If you want someone to finish your transaction and take it to the finish line, you have to have a good agent, not someone that's just doing 1-2 deals a year.
yeah.
There's a lot of hiccups that can happen, repairs, negotiations, all that kind of stuff, lending. There's so many things that can happen if you don't have an educated agent.
Absolutely.
It can fall apart. So
Absolutely.
I think it's, why eliminate buyers right off the bat? Why eliminate good buyers? Good
Right.
agents that aren't going to take discount commissions.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell my sellers. And as my buyers, I don't discount my worth. I know, it's a lot of liability to take you on as a buyer. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of things that can be missed in a transaction. And so it's the biggest investment of your life. Why would you discount? Why would you want to pay less on that? So that's, kind of how I approach it is you get what you pay for.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that sellers just stay on about,
Exactly.
And
that's how
I
I
think
approach
most of them will see.
that it's important to offer that.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to approach it is why eliminate your buyer pool right off the bat?
Yeah.
We price it for you to put that commission in there.
Yeah. I heard an agent say that he's going to be approaching it to like past clients as, remember when I helped you buy this house and how much I helped you?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's what they're doing, you know?
And people that you want to come in unrepresented, it's such a mistake because as a selling agent, I don't have to help you through all this stuff. If you don't want me to help you, then I'm not.
Think about the money they could lose.
Exactly. There's so much that,
Contracts and
there's so much that can go wrong. There's so much. So it's why would you not want to have, even if it's not me, have representation? Have
Right.
someone having your back.
yeah, the deadlines. I mean, as a title company, I can't imagine like having to
Yes.
keep a buyer, unrepresented buyer, like,
Yeah. I knew someone that went in without an agent and it was a big disaster. And like they lost their earnest money. And I'm just like, what you would have had paid, you weren't even paying at the time. The seller was paying.
yeah,
You just lost $50,000.
yeah.
Why would not have someone represent you? Because you didn't know what that deadline was.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I just really hope that sellers will see the value in the buyer's agents.
Absolutely.
So what is your what does the future look like for you and real estate?
Oh man. So I want to do more lifestyle is kind of where I'm going to start, putting my direction, like on my social media and stuff.
Okay.
I want to show a little more behind the scenes with the design process, the staging process. Right now, I kind of feel like I get rushed sometimes and I don't have time to shoot content, But I feel like I want to be a little more up and personal on my page and, just killing those luxury listings. That's, where I'm at right now. It's just, I obviously do buyers and sellers, but primarily I'm a selling agent. I have more, I would say 75-25. I have way more listings. Okay. So, just that luxury clientele and getting those listings out, getting more listings, even bigger, better, that's just kind of where my direction is just everything on a bigger scale.
Okay. And personally, what does your future look like?
Oh man, now you put me on the spot.
You have a daughter that just went off to college, right?
She's finished. So
She's finished college.
I have a 22 and a 24-year-old. So yeah, they're working and they live on their own now. So honestly, you know, my personal life is a lot of traveling. We're empty nesters. My husband has kids too, but they are with us full time. So we have a lot of opportunity to travel, and that's probably what I'm doing mostly is spending time with my family, traveling, taking them places. Yeah, I think that's number one for me is memories with the band.
Yeah, what a nice place to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
What a, like, you're in like an awesome season.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember being so depressed when both my kids moved out. I was so sad, and I still am because I wish everyone could live with me forever. But it's so nice to be able to get up and go to Europe for 2 weeks, and you know, have other people help you with the business, but you can, and you know, it's a fun time in life too. It's exciting.
yeah, I'm sure it was really hard having your kids, but also it's like, look what I've done.
Yeah, I know. It's like you raise them so they can fly.
Yeah.
You just have to be proud of them when they do. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there, I know, one last question. What would you tell your new agent self?
What would I tell my new agent self? Oh my gosh. Run. I'm just kidding. I would just say to have some grace. You know, it's that first year, the first 2 years are really hard. I mean, your business doesn't come to you, so you have to really fight for that business. But I think to tell a new agent, which I have quite a few reaching out to me, is get on a team, work for a builder, be around people so you gain knowledge and experience.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, you know, if you're just trying to fly by the seat of your pants, it's scary, and you can fail really quick at that.
Yeah.
So just be around people, like-minded people that you want to grow from.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think it's really important to get experience. You don't know everything at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So be under a team, be under, a builder, whatever, to where you can learn.
Absolutely.
I think that's the most important.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, actually. Yeah. Like with the newer agents, like, you need to get a team.
Exactly. A lot of them will come and be like, I want to do what you do. And I'm just like, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And that first year, there were so many times I wanted to quit because it's hard to get business, and no one's really taking you serious yet when you haven't really done much. Mm-hmm. And so be around it every day, so you can, even now in my brokerage, I'm around people that do bigger and better deals than I do because I want to surround myself with people that I want to be like.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like hearing the conversations daily, it's so easy as realtors. Yeah, it's so easy for you guys to just be like, oh, I can go do this. I don't need to do this. Yeah. And
it's funny because I have a lot of new agents reach out to me and they're like, I want to learn from you. I want to do what you do. And then I'll say, okay, well, let's go stage his house. And they're like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, well, it's not all glamorous.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And people need to realize that real quick.
Yeah.
It's not, there's days where they're like, why do I do this? It's hard. I can't walk for a day when I'm lifting couches up flights of stairs,
Yes.
But I do it because I can get my clients the best amount. I'm presenting it the best. And yeah, it's a lot of hard work and people need to realize that right off. From day one, it doesn't come easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Where can people follow you?
Amy.Volcic.realtor on Instagram. Yep.
Okay, yeah, go give her a follow. And thank you so much for being here. I'm going to have you on again, and we're going to talk about makeup. Because you have beautiful makeup.
Well, do you know that I used to be a makeup artist?
No! Okay, this makes sense.
Funny. Before I became a realtor, and I was married to my ex, I worked for Bobby Brown for 12 years.
No way. Okay, I'm like mathing here and it's not mathing up. I'm like 12 years, 16 years.
Yes. 12 years for Bobby Brown. I would travel and do her makeup shows and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that is so
I love makeup.
Oh my God.
It doesn't pay the bills.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate, failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.